Last area I really want to build here, and we're only going to start it. We're not actually going to finish this because it's pretty easy to do once you get started, is the ear. There's a lot of troubles that people sometimes have with the ear, and it mostly comes from not really understanding the structures. And hopefully we'll have an easy way of starting this off here. I usually find that proportionally, you want to position the ear between the eyebrow at its high point and the bottom of the nose at its low point. So I'm going to make a set of faces here that I'm going to open up in just a second, of course behind the jaw, and I'm going to eventually produce my ear in this section. But first though, I really feel I need a division of geometry to actually start off the construction of my ear. So we're going to add that in. And I'm actually going to do this with the split polygon tool. Starting here, which is where my ear is eventually going to come out of, and working my way towards the mouth. Now I'm using the split polygon tool because it's going to come towards the mouth and eventually up towards the nose. And I don't want it to just continue as an edge loop. I want to actually define where this is going to go. It's going to be, of all the parts we look at here, probably the biggest headache, figuring out where this line is going to be. But if we start manipulating these vertices a little bit closer to the center line, sometimes we can actually find a way to push any triangles or n-gons that we create into each other, which will turn our model into a quad. We'll widen out the side of the nose here a little bit. And let's see if we can actually find a way to continue this line so that it doesn't produce this n-gon on the side of the face. So let's get the split polygon tool again, and I'm going to make some triangles in doing this. And even though I don't want triangles in my model necessarily because of the pinching they create and the extra subdivisions they create when smoothing, I am going to use them so that I can come in and start turning things into quads. I'll jump right there. Looks pretty good. Now I see there's a pretty easy to define quad over here. Let's see how this works. Carry this over. Looks pretty good. Looks like we're building an edge loop. However, we do still have some problems here. We've eliminated a lot of the triangle errors. There is one triangle on the side of the nose. There's also a really stretched quad, or a series of stretched quads here in this point. And sometimes you might be inclined to actually say, well, why can't I just merge these vertices together? Would get rid of the quad, but the geometry result is pretty pinched, and I'm not sure I like how that looks. So we're going to leave that as is and see if we can actually try and remanipulate this by, again, using the split polygon tool, drawing out some triangles. And again, you just have to be comfortable with the triangles for the time being. And removing out edges. Again, any two triangles, when they come together, are just going to make a quad. Now we have two triangles that are kind of next to each other. So my idea is here, since we have a free play into the eye and we have a free play into the mouth, let's just use the split edge loop tool and divide this up a little bit. You can use it to form the upper edge of the nose. And that'll just disappear into the eye. So it might give us a little bit more geometry than we need, but we can actually use this to help get a little bit more of that creased shape in the eye that we were missing before. We get another free play going down into the mouth from the second triangle, so let's go ahead and insert an edge loop here. Looks pretty sharp. And there we go. We'll use this as well to help really define that wall of the philtrum. You can see that M shape really developed here now. We'll position this around just a little bit to make it a little bit less severe. Soften my normals. And now we're ready to build the ear. I just have to do that first step first because I like to start with, first of all, removing these faces. Don't find they're needed. We're going to put the ear on top of them. And I want to extrude the ear as an edge extrusion section from this lower division that's here. We're going to make it into a number 9 shape. That's the shape that you normally find with the ear. And to do this, I'll select the edge. And again, use the extrude the selected component command to start extruding out these edges. So I'll click extrude, get the move tool, and I'll again start to position this out, rotate it. And you'll see there's a process here. It's a move, rotate, scale sort of thing we're going to use to get this in place. And you can also notice now, just looking at this, that since I haven't been building off of my orthos, that things just kind of gone a little awry. So I'm going to move these points around, make sure that they're sitting to help define my jaw. We'll take this edge, continue extruding it. Extrude, rotate, scale, extrude, move, rotate, scale, extrude, move, rotate, extrude. And again, it's pretty straightforward process here. We're following the outer edge of the ear. On the bottom, we follow the edge of the ear lobe, which is the lobule. Now we've followed the helix all the way to the top of the crest of the helix. We're going to make this number 9 shape, bringing it back around. This point as well, we're going to eventually merge up into this point. So I'm going to get these ready to merge a bit later. This is one of the things about an ear. It's not a true edge loop. It's actually more of a spiral than anything else. And it's almost even more like a pretzel shape as it crosses over its shelf. One of the things is that I also find that people have a hard time working with as they build these shapes is trying to treat this more of a 3D object. And I think if you look at it flat and as 2D, we can probably find a way to get this going. I'm going to append between this face and one of the faces right across from it. And again, I know that they don't really connect there. One goes further in, one is further out, but using the append polygon tool, clicking on an edge, clicking on the other edge, hit enter, I'm able to join that up in 2D, and it works pretty good on a 2-dimensional level. But in 3D, we're going to work with it a bit later. So I have these faces here. I'm going to use Shift Period, which is the grow my selection tool. It's the greater than tool to actually grow this selection up a little bit. So I have these faces. With them, I'll be able to actually rotate around my selection so the ears actually bend a little bit off to the side. I really want to make sure that my ears aren't just completely planar to the head. There we go. They're bending out just a little bit. As you can see here, we're able to see them from the front image as well. So let's make sure that those are matching up well enough. Now I've got this number 9 shape, which I think is working pretty nicely. Once this is built, now we can think in 3D and we can push that back in. But I like to leave that step until right now. Second part of the ear here is we're going to actually join up these 2 little vertices using the merge vertex command. And now I find that we can use the append polygon tool to start to seal up some of this along the front. So let's join this section up right here. Looks pretty good. And we now have the ear divided into 2 final sections. The attachment of the ear to the back of the head is pretty straightforward, so we'll let that go. And the inside part of the ear, and the upper ear, where the anti-helix is pretty straightforward as well. It's just an extrusion in. We'll just look at the auditory canal here and then call this demo a wrap. What we're going to do is, again, we're going to use the Select Border Edge tool to select this whole open border edge, as you see. And then take the Extrude to select a component feature, scale it together, and rotate it, and move it so that we've got an opening for the ear. One more of these extrusions should actually get it really nicely moving back into the head. Get it, move it around, and maybe even one more time as well. And that will get it going really far in. We now can no longer see that opening. Scale that down a little bit. We've got an open edge for the ear. Again, soften my edges, delete my history, and we've got a head. Thank you very much. This has been Andrew Klein. Please check out andrewklein.net for more information on more modeling and texturing tutorials. Thank you very much.